Recording, yay! Anyway, alright people, we are going to do the qualifications in a few moments, but we have something to talk about. Before we started this recording, obviously, it was after we finished the review, we had a little bit of talking with Dredd. He is not going to be in this review, and the reasons why are that, well, his attitude. His attitude really is pretty bad. He really started to get really mad at us for poking fun at him with, of course, the name Sparkles, and we don't really mean that. I don't. If you guys have a little say about it, you can post in the comments, but we're gonna give our personal opinions. We might sound biased. We might sound that we're pushing it too far. If you think that, please post in the comments of the video. We want to hear your guys say something about this, but let's go on. Keo, you want to start talking about that real quick?
Well, the problem is his ability to hold on to all the grudges, kind of, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every little thing seems to had to add up with him.
Yeah.
And then it goes away, and then it just adds up again.
Yeah, it seems
It
that...
seems like it hasn't been going away. Like before, it'd bother him, then he'd get over it sometimes. But now he's not at all.
We've known Dredd for a year, a little over a year now. We know his first name, we know where he lives, we know what ethnicity he is. We've known him for, like I said, a year. We've played TF2 with him, Man vs. Machine most recently. We've played a lot of Left 4 Dead 2 matches, and even before we did these recordings, in fact, Dredd introduced me to Keo, and it was just all that stuff. Dredd has been a good guy, but it seems like lately everything is getting to him, just the smallest little details. It could be an item from TF2 that he couldn't craft, it just pissed him off. Or it could be a crate that he opens and he doesn't get the strange item he wants. Or he would bitch at us for a video game that we think he should get. And instead, when he gets money on Steam, instead of buying that video game, he would opt out to buy himself something from the TF2 store. Not that we complain, but he constantly does this. And then in the end, he'll ask Keo for that game by giving him those TF2 items. It's come to the point where I'm not liking the way he's going. He's taken things way too serious. I don't know if it's because of his home. I don't know if it's his parents. They're pissing him off and he's just taking it out on us. But he's going to have sooner or later to learn that we're not trying to hurt his feelings. We're not trying to be like heavy aggressive trolling tactics here. We're just trying to play a friendly game of Left 4 Dead 2, record it so you guys have some entertaining value. We don't play seriously. In fact, including the recording, we're shooting each other for Christ's sake. We're having fun. It's not like we're just doing it because, hey, you pissed me off, I want to shoot you. We're not doing that. We're trying to have fun, and Dredd doesn't seem to get that concept in his mind, and he hasn't for the last few recordings. For the first episode that we ever called him Sparkles, which is episode 5, I believe, it was a New World Order 2 review. He's the one that pretty much gave himself that nickname, and it's his fault. I mean, it was based on the same idea where he wanted Warhammer 40k Space Marine, and he wanted Keo to buy it. It's a $30 game on Steam. Keo said, I'll think about it. Well, Keo had suddenly posted this link to, I don't remember the link. I know it was a My Little Pony reference quiz. See which one you were. Dredd put it in a deal that if he does it right now, would he get the game? Keo said, fuck it, yeah, that sounds like a good deal. And not only that, he got some TF2 items, of course, because that was part of the deal. Dredd ended up getting Twilight Sparkle. It was just a joke. It really wasn't anything other than a joke. And we told him even in that review, that he could have called us any pony name. He had ample time, and he has since that review. He could do any time to troll us, but he doesn't active. He doesn't do it. I don't know if he's really trying to play seriously. I don't know if that's how he plays Left 4 Dead 2. But to us, we need to make sure you guys are entertained. We're not trying to piss him off. We're trying to make sure there's some comic effect, because some maps just flat out become boring. We've played some of those, right? So, yeah, if you guys have a problem with what we're doing, if you want to take a look at the previous playthroughs that we have, go ahead and make sure you post on this video, because this is where it's really ones we want to hear it from. If you think we're pushing Dread too far with our trolls, tell us. We want to know.
We do.
It's something that when me and Kiara are talking about it, we're kind of biased. We're kind of thinking we're not doing that. We need to hear from a third party. We need to hear this right away. Because if you guys think we're doing okay, we're not really pushing it, fine. I'll tell that to Dread, and I'll see what happens. Because it's a possibility that he may not be in the recordings anymore. And tonight was a big one because he pissed me off. He said something that he knows he shouldn't have. He thought I asked him, I put him on the spot and tried to get him the reasons why. He couldn't come up with any. I caught him in a lie, and his attitude towards me, his attitude towards the recording idea of tonight, his attitude towards even Keo, that was enough. I couldn't have him in this review, and I kicked him out of the call. It's the first time I had to ever kick anybody out of a call before recording. It's the first time that Dread has really upset me. And he might have had a right to do it, but at the same time, he has to learn that we're not trying to hurt him. We're not trying to push him over the edge. We're not trying to do anything. He got upset that we called him Sparkles. Fine, I understand that you're upset about that, but don't push it. I mean, Sparkles is just a nickname. It means nothing. It means that we're having fun, and that he has the ability to give us a nickname. He can call us a rat dick cocksucker, and it just be funny, because we're not trying to be serious. And he could be serious, and to me, that would be funny. Because it's not really... I know that in the end, he's not really meaning it. But tonight, he needs to learn that if you push me over the edge, I ain't going to have you back in. I'm a person that gives you one chance, and if you fuck that up, I probably won't give you another one. And as much as I do like Dread as a friend, he needs to learn something eventually. That's pretty much all I got. You want to add anything more to that, Keo?
Well, you pretty much hit all problems there.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you have any personal additions? Do you want to add anything that he's done to you tonight or any time?
Well, then there really isn't any, because I don't have a problem with it too much. Trolling tends, especially his kind of trolling, just flushes right off.
Yeah.
What he likes to do, which is too easy to brush off, is what he does.
Yeah, I mean, you think the Sparkles thing would have gotten old by now. And it doesn't seem to get old with him.
It has gone old, it just still affects him as it did the first day.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, and I know that this is like the first 5-10 minutes of this video, whatever, how long it's going to take us to talk about this. It's just, he needs to understand that it's nothing. We're not trying to hurt him. That's all. He also needs to learn that he doesn't get everything out of this. Even if we troll him hard enough, if we went too far, he thinks sometimes that he's owed an apology and he gets something else out of it. Like he gets a craft hat in TF2 or something like that. He also needs to learn that life doesn't work that way. someone is going to troll him so hard that he's going to get pissed. And the next thing you know, he's waiting for an apology. He kind of acts kind of a child in a sense. And you can't always get the way you want it. It's not going to work that way. Life doesn't owe you a damn thing. It just doesn't. There's no way life is saying, hey, you think you owed an apology? Well, fuck you. It's basically what life says. I mean, I'm going to apologize to him if you guys think that we're going too far. I will do an apology to him. But if you think I'm not pushing it, or if Kyo's not pushing it that far, and all we're doing is kind of just calling him a name, just call him Sparkles just because it's funny, and we're not pushing it, like we're not repeatedly calling him every single waking minute of that freaking recording. If we're not doing that, which I know we're not, I mean, usually we do it at the start of the whole thing. We don't push it
at all.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't even call him that. We just have fun with it. We find another thing. We'll say something about MLP and he gets stirred up, or we'll say something about robots and somehow it angers him. Well, it depends on what we're saying, And most of the time we don't even get anything to anger him. A lot of the times, in a lot of the recordings that I've uploaded, he's fine. And I know I have some other recordings that we've done that I still have yet to upload. That we haven't pushed him to the edge. I know we haven't. In fact, a lot of them, he's with us. But we're just having fun. He just needs to learn to let things go. And if he can't do that, I'm probably not going to bring him back into this, to Defying the Elements. It's just, I can't bring him back if he's going to still be this serious attitude. And that's a sad thing, because it's really, he helped me come up with this idea. He helped me introduce Kyo, and I'm the one that invited Kyo into this. And since then, we've been a trio playing this whole thing, and this is kind of the first time we've actually had a real life conflict. And I understand that he has a point. We might be pushing it too far. We don't think we are. We don't think we're pushing him that far. We don't think what we're doing is really hardcore trolling. We're doing light trolling. The whole thing with Apple is worse than Sparkles with a grenade launcher is that we find it funny because Dread uses a grenade launcher. And he doesn't know how to use it correctly. He uses it and shoots it at us instead of away like he's supposed to. And we just find it, I just said it, and because me and Kyo are talking about Apple one day, and all of a sudden, Kyo made a meme out of it, and he made meme pictures. I sent it to Dread. Dread took it really personally. I didn't know this was going to affect him that bad. I thought he'd be laughing his ass off. It doesn't seem like it's a bad compliment. I mean, in fact, I'm more tearing down Apple than I am him. That comment just alone, it states that. Whether or not he can understand to let things go, we'll have to wait and see. But if he's going to be this way, I can't have him in the recordings anymore. It's just not going to happen. And if you guys think it's wrong with me, fine, write it down. I want to know. But I believe that I'm right here, that I believe that even Kyo's right in what he said, that he's taking things way too seriously, and he shouldn't. He should be playing with a good attitude. That he should be playing with a fun attitude. That he could troll us at any moment and we won't see it. I want him to feel that he could do that at any time. And if what we're saying is pushing him that far, I don't know. It could end the friendship. It could do a lot of things. But I want him to hopefully watch this recording of this review and really listen to what we have to say. He needs to settle down and realize that we're not the ones that are pushing him. We're not trying to. And if it is happening, it's not our intention. We're not really trying to push him that far. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough about that. We need to get on to the review. This is for Invoked Volcano, I think that was the name.
So it was Inferno.
Inferno. It's one of those. It dealt with a volcano. Dread's kind of really stole my mind. This is again the first review that he played but will not be in. He again is his attitude. That's his own damn fault. He needs to let it go. But let's get back on subject. Invoked Inferno. The qualifications of it. It's the last map we just played. So let's get on with it. 5 stars maximum, 1 star minimum. Kyo, the number infected, what did you think about it? It was a 1-part map. We died a couple of times, but first one was because we were just having a derp moment. We were having fun. And
Yeah.
the second one, we just weren't prepared. But again, what did you think about the infected?
Well, no, a 1-part map with what it was trying to do and all that. Give it a full star with it. It had a lot of infected, but once again, it's supposed to be kind of like its own one big giant end sequence.
Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, I'll give it a full star. The infected weren't really a problem. There was a fair decent amount. Like I said, our first 2 deaths, one was we just weren't prepared, and the other one we were just shooting each other for the hell of it. And again, that's also because we provoked dread, but again, we were shooting each other for the hell of it. And the bot, because we don't like Rochelle, but that's our own reason. And you guys
Well, the
know
bots
that
in general, but
yeah, that too. Um, Oh, I also, before I go any further, just want to mention that I will not upload my side of the playthrough. Reasons of it does involve Dread. I think that's what really provoked him tonight, so I'm not going to upload mine. Keo will upload his because he didn't start recording until a little bit afterwards. You'll still see the shooting part, but it was after I said something that provoked him apparently. So just want to point that out. Mine is going to be scrapped. His will be up, and I'll just post up the review. Anyway, number 2, length of campaign. It was 29 minutes. Taking out the 2 deaths is probably 20 minutes. Well, not that. I'm going to say about 15 minutes taking off about that. So let's say this is about a 15-minute map. What'd you think about that?
oh, in comparison to other ones, so you played 30-minute maps that have been one map long.
Yeah, but this one we died twice. So taking 15 minutes off for that.
I know. It's just that we didn't die in the one that took 30 minutes.
Yeah, but the one that took 30 minutes was also a really good map.
It was. It was a false imperial map.
Yeah, so
But it may have been about. It felt so much shorter. It felt like I just sat down, loaded up, played, and then was done before I even blinked. It's what it felt like to me. Not gonna lie. And even with a one map, that's way too short. I'll give it no stars.
all right. I'm gonna give it a half. 15 minutes, which is what I'm estimating it was. It's pretty much average for a part in a map to be about 15 minutes long. That it did kind of feel short because it didn't take us long to get from point A to point B. And most of the time that we were waiting was for events to happen, such as the door to blast open so we can move on, or getting the event started for the finale part. We had to wait for the tanks and endurance match for a couple of minutes. Outside of that, it did kind of feel short, like you can just breeze right through it. So yeah, I do agree with you that it was a short kind of design of a map. But at the same time, it did do the artificial timing kind of right too. With the elevator, you had to wait for everybody to get onto it before you press the button, and then you had to wait while on there to get to the top of the building. That was artificial. Um, so yeah, I'll give it a half a star because it did have a little bit too much of the artificial. In fact, half the map is that and shouldn't be that long. So yeah. Anyway, moving on to difficulty fitting. We played normal difficulty like always. What'd you think about it?
It well felt a bit harder actually, even with 3 people. I mean,
Yeah.
that first time we died. I mean, not the second time we died.
Hmm.
We made it to the end, and then we died. And well, it was normal, and it gave a lot of this just the common show up,
Yeah.
and in fairly overwhelming hordes almost. But once you get the melee, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And
In
it was right for normal difficulty. Um, the first death that we had, the first restart,
that
first
was,
half of it we killed each other. We killed half our team, and then the second time
and we experienced the lava.
we experienced what the lava can really do, which is kind of what we needed to test anyway. We needed to make sure it actually hurt us. Otherwise, we just walk right on top of it and say,
That would have hurt its design,
yeah, that would have hurt of its design. So,
but
other than that,
other
I'll erase that one in terms of restart. The
yeah,
second
the
time,
first
yeah,
one kind of doesn't count, but the second time,
the second time did count. We did go through it. We did get to the end, and we did fail at the end. But we also weren't prepared, and at the time, there wasn't a whole lot of med packs.
yeah,
Uh,
that's the thing though, because we failed once. It wasn't a lot of med packs. Well, I saw, but we didn't get that far. The second time there wasn't that many med packs around.
and the
Third
third
time they
time,
were.
all of the med packs, they just threw it at us. You know,
So it's either it's on a counter that if you fail a certain amount of times, or it's randomly generated, and there's a
or
ton of
it's
them that.
pretty much the AI director is just saying, "Here's med packs because you didn't get it last time." It's one of those things where it didn't feel balanced.
Yeah,
Um,
I
we
mean,
didn't
I'm gonna
need
give
that
it
many med packs.
half a star because of the reasons.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm gonna give it a half a star. Well, it gave us like none one time. It gave us all of them the next time. It also felt like it was giving us a shit ton of specials that we didn't need. Even when we started, there was special infected. Um,
Yeah,
right in the very start because you had boomers, smokers, jockeys, all these things just come after you, and we didn't even move in the map. We're just sitting there waiting for us to load up. Even before Keo starts his recording, he was still loading. Me and Dread alone had maybe like 3-4 specials come plus a horde. So it doesn't. There's got to be a place where it's hitting a place where it's activating the horde, or the guy didn't put the spawn right and put us after that part, which it shouldn't happen. That does up the difficulty, especially if we can't find those health packs. And again, this difficulty just felt really unbalanced. It needs to be fixed. I don't know if this map's in beta, so I just kind of downloaded it. If it's in beta, the guy could fix it. He can fix a little bit of the AI director because I know there's a way. But yeah, it just needs to be fixed a bit. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next one, which is a design. It is based around a volcano. It explodes. It's disaster. It's a natural disaster. It's part of that whole contest Left 4 Dead Maps is hosting. What do you think about it? Well, does it do justice or?
well, I say it is a bit of a contender. Did mean that the lava was a pretty nice job, especially since it all had to be, I believe, custom
It had to be custom.
element. Yeah, so I mean,
That and in the background actually had the volcano erupting.
yeah, that was really nice touches. I mean, I'm gonna give it a full stall. I mean, it looked good for what they had, and it. I kind of wished it was a bit longer and they had done a bit more with the volcano and stuff, because it's the volcano only plays a part of it at that beginning part, and then you make it to the other place, and the volcano is completely kind of pointless. And then it's I think the volcano's destroying the building you're in, but it just you don't really notice it.
Hmm.
At least I didn't feel like it was that noticeable,
Hmm.
but I'll still give it the full star.
See, I agree with you up to the part where it's 1 star. I'm gonna give it 3/4. The main reason is that the map is called Invoked Inferno, and I really didn't see the Inferno other than the volcano part. And after that, everything else, there was no other fire. It took you to the seaside, and you never see the lava again. It seemed like they could have done it a whole lot better, because well, the design, like you had the background, looked beautiful. It had the lava come up, and it would start rising. That was beautiful. Um, and then it just kind of stops at that building. You don't see it ever again. I don't know if it still follows you. I don't know if it keeps coming up, but it could be done better. Um, Maybe the finale should have like an extra. I don't know if they should add an extra part where the volcano kind of swallows the helicopter whole, and you have to wait again for another rescue, but this time a boat. Um,
Or well, that's another place where you can have the lava like melt through some stuff and hey, building fall over or something, and you walk over the building.
yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting a little bit more. It's not that I don't like the map. I mean, everything about it is quite nice. It's well designed. Just needs to be longer, and the lava's quite nice. The background, you see the mountain all of a sudden become a volcano eruption. You see the explosion when it happens. You feel the earthquake happening from it. It really needed to bring out more to it, because when you say Invoked Inferno as the name, I expect this place to be in fire. I expect it to be running away from that volcano, that lava. I expect to be trying to dodge a lot of natural stuff, like trees falling over and, well, explosions happening. This is kind of, I know we're coming off the heels of There's Only One Way, and that map is probably the most glorious map I've ever seen. And I'm kind of expecting that with these natural disaster maps. So
Especially when it's like, especially when the also is a studio.
yeah, and this guy may have done it for himself. Just the design, he did a hell of a job. That's why I'm giving him 3/4. He did a
See, this
really good
was
job.
we're looking it up now. It's Fourth World Studios. So
Yeah,
that's probably not one guy. It's probably a group of people.
yeah, and I have no problems with what they've done. They did a hell of a job with all the design, but they could have done a little bit better. They could have made the environments a little bit more tougher. They could have made it more frightening. They could have made it There's Only One Way kind of design. They had the ability to, they just didn't bring it out. So I could really see the potential of this map becoming a whole lot better if this is in beta. If this is close to its final stages,
It's complete.
like that, then the map is not really worth giving it a full star in that design factor. It feels like it's lacking a lot of stuff it could have done. As my new cat decides to meow. Yes, I have a second cat now. Anyway, but Eddie's off topic. We're going after something new, and especially with natural disasters, we want to see a lot more. We want to experience what a natural disaster is, because they're supposed to be this frightening movie kind of thing.
It
These,
kind of had that, oh no, the volcano's gone off. I need
well,
to go this way.
for example, you can go for movies like The Day After Tomorrow or 2012. Those are
Dante's
disasters.
Inferno.
Dante's Inferno is a good one. another one called Volcano. These ones are really good. You had a lot of good actors come into it and all that stuff. They're good in terms of what they're trying to represent. They're not good because the writing sucks in those movies, but in terms of what it's trying to prove, like the natural disaster, it does do that justice. It does bring it out. 2012, though, that's probably the best in terms of graphically
So
to
the
see
best one is Volcano in New York.
that. That's a great one there, yeah. Um, but when I see this, I want to actually kind of fear these items. I want to stay away. With this one, you had the volcano in the back. I was expecting, when you say, okay, volcano, I'm expecting like we're coming off the mountain that's about to erupt. I'm expecting this to be a 5-part map. Not just
I was hiking, and then this mountain went off, and I had to run.
run
That's
like a
what we wanted.
bitch. Yeah, we wanted something that just scared the shit out of us. Like, oh god, this is bad. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
Because even with that, the volcano looked quite a few miles away, even almost improbably far away,
Yeah,
for the lava to have reached where it did by the time we got
and
where we were.
not only that, for it to rise so fast.
Because lava's fairly slow moving, actually. It's not that fast.
Yeah, most of them.
Even in
There are some
reality,
places.
yeah, there's some places, but as a whole, lava's fairly slow.
Not only that, and even a volcano eruption tends not to have lava half the time. It could just blow the side of a fucking mountain, and that alone is pretty bad. Case an example, Mount St. Helens. You know,
Of course,
you
that
know,
found like half its signs in one instance.
yeah, and it pointed out poisonous gas, and it covered most of Washington State, and
It
got it.
covered a great deal of the United States, and at least the
Yeah,
west side,
on the
even.
west
Even
side, yeah. Well, it didn't get Seattle because it blowed in towards the
yeah,
east. It blowed east side, not the west side. And then you look, for example, if what happens if Mount Rainier exploded, because that's an active volcano.
and it's really close
It's
to
really
Seattle.
close to Seattle, and if it erupted, Seattle's gone. They've even put stats up that says what happens if this mountain exploded from an active volcano, which it probably won't. They say it's not quite there yet. But if it does, Seattle's gone. There's just no fucking way they're going to survive that. Because the earthquake and I believe the landslides would just tar down the city. So,
And everyone will miss Pike's Market.
and the
Pike's Place.
Seattle Seahawks and the Seattle Mariners and anything
Well,
else is Seattle.
Focus will. The rest of the NFC West won't care.
They're
But
like, yay, Seattle's gone. And then San Francisco's going, yay, we're number one again. Anyway, we're getting off topic. This map, great in terms of design. Could have used more, though. It felt lacking to me. It had more potential when it was introduced than what was given. It's the same.
screenshots made it look far better. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
It's not like that. You even look at 2012, the movies, they looked a whole lot better when you've seen like still images or you've seen the previews, and then when you watch the fucking movie, it sucks. You know, it feels lackluster and it needs more. The one that did it right, hands down, was There Is Only One Way. That's the only map I've seen that actually made the natural disasters look fucking scary. I mean, you had the flaming tornado, you have lightning striking anywhere, you had earthquakes coming out of nowhere, you had meteors. That one did it right, where it felt like that should have been the movie of 2012, where everything is coming at you at once.
All we needed was a giant hurricane thing that made everything freeze, and it would have been that movie exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, and I know we're getting into natural disasters. We're just showing what we think about it. This was part of the contest. This is a contender, but it's not going to beat There Is Only One Way. I don't see it beating it because
it's already lost to it.
It's lost hands down. It hasn't done the design what it should have.
Well, seeing as the contest is over and they've announced the winner.
Well, yeah, that too. But if it was still going, I'm saying I don't see this being winner at all. Even if it was still going, there was just no.
Yeah, and even if there wasn't one, There Was Only One Way wasn't there. There was other ones. I think there was another one. There
There was a
wasn't that many for this one though.
yeah, the last contest they had was based in China, and
There's a lot more
there was a
maps
lot
that
of
was
those.
released for that one. This one I think only had, I could count them on one hand. I think.
Well, I think the reason why they had this happen is the natural disasters are really hard to make. Yeah, a lot of that is coding, a lot of it's custom design.
Yeah, that's
So
what's kind of disappointing about this contest myself. I mean, it's off topic, but still, I was expecting a lot more maps from it.
yeah, um, I would love to see a whole lot more natural disaster maps. I would love this map to have a nice big update where it feels like it's more scary. I wanted to. When you see something that has a volcano eruption, you expect so much more.
It's
And you,
like, seeing as it's over, now they have all this more time to work on. They could just implement this as like the final part of a map series, maybe 3 maps.
yeah,
It's still a lot of work, so I'd say 3 maps long, and
yeah,
this map being the final part.
yeah,
Yeah, it should be fine.
yeah. And they didn't do that. They just kind of said, "Here's this part. Here you go. See what you like about it." It's not a bad map. Could have been lengthened. Could have been better in terms of the theme. It could have done a lot more. So anyway, let's get to the recommendations because we kind of went off topic a bit. Would you recommend it?
Hmm. It's, it's hard to because there is a map that did it so much better, and I'd rather just say play that one. And I will say play that one, which is why I won't actually be recommending this one. If someone says, "What's a great natural disaster map to play?" Play There Is Only One. Play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say to play that one. It's unfortunate for this map, but
It's
that's the way
true.
it's gonna be. I'm gonna recommend the one that I liked far more.
All right, so this is 0 stars for you, right?
Yep.
On that one. Um, I'm gonna say the same. If someone came up to me and said, "Which kind of map would you prefer to play for a natural disaster? Would it be this one, or would it be There's Only One Way?" And I would straight up say, "Go with There's Only One Way." There's just so much replayability. There's just so many custom models there to make say that one is probably the best one, hands down. There's just no way I've ever played a map better than that. And I've played a lot of maps. We played Suicide Blitz, and even I still think There's Only One Way is a hell of a lot better than that map. Considering that Suicide Blitz was fairly lengthened as
Well,
it was,
Suicide Blitz was a full map
it was a full
series.
map. But even at a full map, I didn't feel like wanting to play more after I finished it.
Well, it's
Whereas
because its only real interest kind of was its Easter egg. Once you did the Easter egg, there's no real feeling to go
well, not only
back and
that,
play
but
it.
the map was well designed too. It wasn't a big problem. But the
I
thing
did
is,
like my foam finger melee.
yeah, it had a lot of
No
its own
dissing
custom
foam.
stuff. I'm just looking at it this way: is if I had a choice between those two maps, and just take the one part There Was Only Way to Suicide Blitz 2, I would probably choose There Was Only One Way in terms of wanting to replay it more. There's
Well, it's
just
more just happening. I mean, Suicide Blitz is kind of your. It's a very much a generic map,
yeah,
really.
yeah, it's a
It,
generic design, and it's not a bad one. It does take its own idea. They
it's just
made
There Is Only One Way has so much custom content in it that it's far more worth playing.
yeah, and so I can't recommend this one because I'm looking at other maps. This one just feels so lackluster. I mean, I know we went off topic with There's Only One Way and add that in there, but we're taking that as an example. That's prime example number one of how you do it right. And
I mean, I know they were working on it separately, like they didn't know what the other guys were doing. So,
yeah,
but this was an event on the website that I think demanded more attention than what you gave it.
yeah, and it's why you can't win, and if that's why you didn't, and it's why we can't recommend you. It's not that you don't have a bad map. It's just
I
it's
mean, yeah, if the total,
it hits starts really well, and then it just drops. It just stops out of nowhere.
I'd
And
recommend it if the guy who wanted a recommendation had already played There Was Only One Way, because just try this one. Just do it. You've already played that one. This one won't entertain you as much, but it'll look kind of pretty.
Yeah, and this one did start off that way. It looked very pretty, and then it hit a point where it stopped. And that's what we don't like. If you're going to stick with a theme, go with it entirely. Go all the way through it. Don't stop. And we've hit maps like that. I
Now, we
know,
played maps without themes.
yeah, I mean, we've played maps of just straight up fun. For instance, New World Order. That's an example of one where it really didn't have a theme to it. It just was a generic design. And I think we did kind of recommend it because it was quite fun. It didn't stop. It stayed right where it was trying to be, and it did have a small theme in terms of being kind of in a post-apocalyptic design. So I think that's what it was going for, steampunk design. I don't know which one, but
Well, post-apocalyptic, steampunk, there was not enough gears.
yeah, no, I'm just trying to say it anyway. That one was fun, but it didn't stop. It just kept going with what it was trying to become. It didn't just suddenly stop out of nowhere. And we've played a lot of apps that way, where it just stopped out of nowhere. And you're like, well, this is boring. Thanks. You started
Yeah,
out really well, and then all of a sudden it
it,
stops.
especially when it didn't feel like we'd hit the finale part of the map when we hit the finale part of this map on this map. It didn't feel like we're at the part where the helicopter was going to show. It felt like we're going to wait here, something's going to happen, and then we're going to continue on. It's like this can't be where it ends. Something happens, and then something breaks open, and we continue on.
Yeah. You know, this was kind of one of those things where it hit a good part and then it just stopped. It bored all the way through it. Then, you just kind of just went generic all of a sudden. You had a theme and you stopped it, and that's where you failed in our eyes. It's one of those things where we can't recommend you at that point. You had a great design. Yeah, you had an okay amount of infected, but you fucked up your freaking difficulty. You made it so unbalanced that it's almost unplayable at times. The length just felt really, really short sometimes. You might have one
Well,
that might take longer, but it does feel like it's very,
I
very
I
small
do
pay.
hope they do expand this map. Maybe handle a different name or something.
Yeah, they need to kind of expand it. Maybe someone else can make it, take the same idea, but make it improved. Um, you know, I want to see a better one than this. I really do. This left me so wanting more. It really made me want more. And to get what we got, I'm sorry, it just doesn't feel right to give it a recommendation. It just stops, and that's where I can't give it a recommendation. If the lava went all the way through, if it did some effect where the helicopter couldn't save us, and we had to go to a new spot for it, so they restarted the finale, or if it lengthened the map to a point where it had like 3 parts, where we're running down the map, the first part, the next one, we're still running away from the lava, you know, or running away from a landslide or something like that. I want to see something improved. You could have done a whole lot more natural disasters. You could have added some more fun to it. You would have made this a whole lot better, and you probably would have been one of the better contenders to winning that contest. In fact, you might have even beaten out There's Only One Way, if anything, because that is a map that does set an example of how good it is. This one just left so much more to be needed, and it wasn't given. Sorry, it's not going to be the greatest ones we've ever played. In fact, with our score ratings, Keel, you gave it 2.5, which is average, and I gave it 2 3/4. It's a meh map. It's just there. Um, again, just work on it. Um, you want anything to add to that, to the map?
I believe all that has been said is all that needed to be said.
All right. And with that, the review portion is done. And again, for about the subject with Dread, if you don't like what we said about him, if you think we're pushing him too far, please post a comment down below. We need to know this information. Um, it's not our intention. We're not trying to be assholes to him. We just want to know if we're pushing him too far. If we are, we'll bring it back a bit, or maybe stop doing it altogether. We will apologize to him. We'll even record it if we need to, if we feel like we have to. It's just really give us some feedback on that. We really need to hear that. So anyway, we're gonna stop recording now. I hope you guys enjoyed the playthrough. I hope you enjoyed the review portion of this video. And please, again, give us feedback on the Dread situation, because if he's gone, we're down to a duo, and we have to find a replacement. We don't want that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed everything. See you later.